Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 413 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by a man who's definitely more than kind of funny. It's Mr. Vitz Patel.
Oh, thank you so much. What's good, gamers? How's everybody doing today?
What's up? What's up? That's a question. I'm not just doing a bit. I'm asking you.
Oh, no,
what's up?
I thought you'd do a throwback to the Budweiser "What's up?"
I was,
okay,
yeah.
that's what I was
it was a
jump
genuine
in.
question. I was like, yeah.
No, it's good. Had a chance to see Deadpool Wolverine today, which was fun. Obviously, no spoilers and whatnot. It was very fun. And I highly recommend a chance if you happen to have the chance to go see it before spoilers or wash the internet come the next time you look at the internet, kind of thing. So just be mindful. Obviously, if you have seen it, then be mindful of those who haven't seen it yet, and keep your opinions to yourself. Of anything like the major spoiler bits, there are a lot of surprises in this movie, and let people enjoy and appreciate that not everybody's going to have a chance to see it on day one or whatever it is. So, the excitement is still there.
It's fair game. If they didn't go to the midnight show of Deadpool 3, then, that's their fault.
Right, okay.
That's their fault.
They need to get good.
They need to get good. They need to get, everybody needs to get good.
But the other thing we've been chefing this week is if you're listening to this and it's the 27th of July at 7 p.m. as Amy recoils at the taste of water up north.
It's not the taste. All right, do your thing. We'll talk.
So we are doing our second charity stream for the wonderful team over at Special Effect. We are doing Legally Distinct 90s game shows hosted by this guy with the two thumbs, pointing himself, audio listeners. So at 7 p.m. BST, that is 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific time, if that's where the world is, where you are. So it's going to be a stream full of shenanigans and arguments and trivia, and a lot of it with video game based. So if you like the vibe of that, I know one of the things we did talk about with our charity streams for our next set that we're going to do is bringing back video game Vitzpedy, where we'll have... absolutely. We will have like a cavalcade of guests come on to do that. But I've been putting a ton of work into this, really trying to push myself in terms of production values and things when it comes to music and transitions and what we do with visual assets. And as many of you know, I've been getting into my graphic design duffy when it comes to not only refitting the Words About Games podcast asset pack, but also with the streams that we do and the overlays and things. So I've been chefing, and there are some surprises on the stream as well that we're going to break. Amy knows what it is, and I know what it is. So be sure to tune in. And if you're unable to join us live...
You say surprises. Like, this is the most information I have about this stream.
If you're unable to join us live, then don't worry. Over on our YouTube channel, Words About Games UK, all of our VODs will be going up there, and the Twitch VOD will stay up there as well. So, wherever and whenever you choose to enjoy our stream, then come along. You're more than welcome.
Thanks, I'll be there.
Yes.
You know what? You've sold.
That's it.
It's like, Amy, you had to be there.
You had me at shenanigans.
You have to be there. Oh, okay. Fine, I suppose. I wasn't recoiling at the taste of the water. So I've run out of ice, and
okay,
and it's not cold,
and
I don't like not cold water.
Yeah,
but I also need to stay hydrated. Like, it's a thing. It's like. It's like whenever I get offered a drink at someone else's house, I decline, unless it's coming out of the fridge, and I'm not like
I'm making further notes as you plan to come up.
I'm not throwing shade at people, but it's like I get offered juice a lot. Especially I don't drink alcohol, and it's the diluted juice. You put the water in the glass, and then you pour the juice into it. The water's out of the tap, so it's not that cold to begin with. and the juice is out of the cupboard.
Yeah,
So
people
it's
like put
warm.
cordial in a pantry or whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
So it's
warm.
warm and warm.
So then you put the warm juice, and then it makes the thing warm, and then it's like, I mean, it's wet, so it's fine. It's what I needed
And
in
you're
that particular
polite.
moment.
Yeah. That's-
But it's like, is this all it could be? Like, basically, what I'm saying is, like, I don't have many. Like, I'm not snobbish about a lot of things, but if everybody I know could just buy ice when they know I'm visiting, even in the
well,
winter,
we have ice trays in our freezer, and we make sure that they're constantly stacked. So
that's fine.
whenever
Ice
you do come
trays
down,
work. Ice
then
trays work.
yeah,
I like
that's
to
fine.
get the and this is Moody's fault. He got me into this. It's like you get the super ice cubes. They're like huge.
Okay.
And they don't melt.
Like you make with an old fashioned, that kind of thing, that kind of size.
Yeah, like in a
Yeah.
stereotypical like glass of whiskey with a single giant ice cube in it. And it's like that's what I usually have like in my big cup. I'll have like 2 of those with some water. The water is still cold like 6 hours later.
Yeah, you have some water with your rice. It's that
Like-
that kind of thing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some water with my frozen water.
Speaking of, when it comes to all things juice, what's your preference? As I make mental notes to go shopping.
So, I mean, you're
Are you an
asking-
apple juice girl? Are you
You're
an orange juice
asking, you're asking
girl?
questions here, like
Are you a Tropicana girl?
I don't know if I've ever had Tropicana.
Are you a orange and mango?
I like orange.
kind of girl.
I like orange and I
Okay.
like mango separately.
Oh, okay.
I have a bottle of it downstairs together, and it's like it's been like in like the 2 months that I've had it, it's gone down by like that much.
Okay, right.
It's like break glass in case of emergencies kind of juice. Orange is good. Apple is good.
Are you on the orange front? Are you a smooth kind of person, or do you need a bit of pulp?
No pulp. It's a neurodivergence thing. No pulp. No.
Okay. Team same brain. We're on the same page when it comes to
The
that.
pulp
So
will
that's
end me. I have complicated thoughts on any like food or drink related topic. It's very strange. I once had a 45-minute conversation with Phil, a friend of the show, former Among Us competitor, about soup.
and hopefully future Vitz guest.
He knows nothing about video games, but I reckon he'd be pretty entertaining. But yeah, no, he we had a 45-minute conversation about soup, and this conversation was so epic that like it dragged in passers-by. Like someone would come past, and like that thing where it's like you hear the conversation, so they either stopped to join into the conversation, or we would say, "What's your opinion on bread, like with soup? Like what's your favorite soup?" Like we went down like 10 layers of the soup discourse.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I'm a pretty basic bitch when it comes to soup. But that's good too. And if I like a bit of tiger bread with my soup, as it turns out. But yeah.
Tiger bread's not basic.
No, that's not. But if you're just going, what's your kind of default soup? If I'm ill, then it's cream of tomato soup.
Oh no,
It has
this
to be.
is soup
Yeah.
is a perfectly good dish, and whether you're
Yeah,
healthy or not, this is like a healthy dish conversation. Like,
Yeah.
chunks or no chunks, it's like if these are things you're gonna. How do you feel about crackers? I threw that hand grenade into the conversation. I was like, you know what? Sometimes you need something with a bit more consistency than bread. Throw crackers in there, not in the soup.
That's why I like the tiger bread, because it gives you that crusty outer layer, but then the inside you can actually scoop out, and then if you need to dip and dunk.
I get it. You've got like the crunchiness, and then you've got like the you've got the soakability of the
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good answer.
This is the thrilling conversation you tuned in for
Good
this
answer.
week, friends. And you get to say tiger bread like Sagat would throw his tiger punch whenever
Hell
you
yeah.
buy tiger bread. So there's me in Sainsbury's going, tiger bread!
Tiger bread.
It's absolutely, everybody
Coming
around is
you
like,
know
what
what?
the fuck
I'm
is that
coming around
person
on
going
tiger
on
bread.
there?
I'm coming around on tiger
There
bread.
you go. Yeah.
It's like people think I eat like a maniac, like because I go out on my way to find unique dining experiences
Okay.
when I'm like traveling somewhere. So like when I went to London for EGX the last time I went, which was 5 years ago, like I was like, okay, I'm there for 4 nights. I need to find 4 things that I can eat like eating out, because I'm staying in a hotel. I'm not gonna I don't have like a full kitchen
Yeah.
to make food. I have to eat out, so it's like, okay, where am I gonna eat? Like, this was the second most important question. It's like, where am I gonna stay? Cool, sorted. Right,
Yep.
okay, where am I gonna eat for 4 nights?
These like the Maslow hierarchy of needs. You've
Yeah.
got your shelter sorted, and then the next phase up is food. Yeah.
And so it was like, you can just go into town, into the middle of London, and you can just find any old fucking place. Like, there's a McDonald's. Like, if you stand in Leicester Square, every direction you turn in, there's like some sort of generic fast food.
There's a rule of that needs to be the case. If you're looking at one of the statues in Leicester Square, then behind it you'll see a McDonald's.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, what can I find that I can't have anywhere else? Like, if I come back to Newcastle, like I can have McDonald's in Newcastle. Like, I can get it delivered to my house. I couldn't then, but I can now. So then, like, okay.
I mean, the correct answer if you're in Leicester Square is Dishoom. That's the best place to go.
I went to a Shake Shack because we don't have one anywhere near us. And that was good. I went to a Pizza Punks because I didn't know we had one. I found out while I was inside the restaurant that we actually had one. Because I was like texting people and I was like, look, I'm in this place called Pizza Punks, and there's one like 10 minutes away. I was like, oh well, fuck, I didn't know that. My crowning achievement of that trip was I went to a place called the Serial Killer Cafe. You got cereal there.
As I won't say connoisseur cereal, but I do love a bowl of cereal at any time of the day. And I know we've spoken privately about my quote unquote weird habits when it comes to the order of operations when it comes to cereal. Having said that, cereal is a fine meal at any time of the day, and that sounds amazing. I know there's cereal bars in London as well, but that's awesome. What did you go for?
It was 5 years ago. I don't remember. It was something American. It was something very sweet, and it was probably a bit too sweet. But like the novelty of eating there, like kind of like balanced out I didn't make a great cereal pick.
Right. Okay.
I can't remember what it was called. Was it like Fruity Pebbles? Maybe.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Fruity Pebbles. That might have been it. Everything American is just like that's sugar related. It's just way sweeter.
Oh, of course.
It's like really sweet. Like, because I bought
that
a
fruit
box
trust
of
corn syrup will get you. Yeah.
I bought a box of Lucky Charms once from one of those American sweet shops that was a front for money laundering, probably.
Yep.
And I was like, I had one bowl, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I think I'm gonna fall into a coma.
And wake up with diabetes.
Yeah, I'm not even diabetic. I'm about to fall into a diabetic coma eating this thing. Is that marshmallow? But like it's like the trip I took to when I'd see Moody, and like I had a day in Manchester, so I could have found any old place to eat, but I found a place that specializes in grilled cheese.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's like I'm getting the fucking Ferrari of grilled cheese sandwiches, and you know what? It's fucking good. Good.
Similar vein, sadly not about cheese. I know we both share a love of cheese. How do you feel about seafood, specifically crab?
I don't know if I've ever actually had it.
Okay.
I don't know if I've had much seafood, like fish and chips. But
so I know a place that I won't say near us, but it's worth a drive. And when you're down here, we can go there one night, and I'll give you the pitch, and then without knowing how you feel about crab, we'll get the pitch. So they sit you down at a table. There's no plates. All the tables are covered in paper, and then they serve you a big menu, and they say, okay, what type of crab would you like? And there's like a regular brown crab, there's Norwegian sea crabs and snow crabs and all that jazz. And they always try and upsell you on getting the next crab up. Then they ask you, okay, it's going to be in like a tomato-based sauce, but how would you like your sauce or your soup kind of thing? So you can have it like with garlic butter, you can have like a spicy one, you can have a real spicy one. And then once you've done all that, and you can order sides and things and what have you, then it comes to you, not on plates, but in a bag. So you get a big bag of
I would like one bag
soup,
of soup.
Crab, yeah.
Extra crab.
Yeah, and then they bring it down to you. You open the bag up, and then they'll give you like a tutorial of how to essentially crack open the bits of crab and to get all the the meter movestats inside it kind of thing.
Wow.
And so I went for my uncle's 60th a couple of weeks ago at this point, but it was one of the best crab dishes I've ever had, and I think it's worth the experience of going again. And they give you they give you a bib and everything. should you get a little bit messy, but it's good fun.
I don't know how you contain soup in a bag, and I'm excited to find out. Also, you guarantee that it will be the best crab dish I've ever had in my life. So
by default, there you go. Yeah,
it'll be the best one I've ever had because I don't think I've ever had one.
We find out, friends, that Amy's deathly allergic to crab. One of the two options.
Yeah, it's like I'm not allergic to anything as far as I know.
Yeah,
but I don't think I've ever had shellfish. So hey, could be the day I find out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tie my hair back. Vitz, would you like to fill in time for like 20 seconds while I do so?
Yeah, friends, we hope you're doing well. I know that the world is a nightmare, and every day it finds new and interesting ways to be even more of a nightmare. But we hope that you're coping well, and just know that just by surviving, you're often thriving, and it shouldn't be lost on anybody that just trying to function as an adult or however you choose to see yourself is an achievement in itself, and is a great thing. So you do you, keep on doing your thing.
Oh my god. I was like, it's not that hot in here. I could probably have my hair down. And then like 10 minutes in, it was like, oh, this was a mistake. I have made some mistakes. Well, shall we dive right into the podcast?
Yeah.
With Moody's topic of the week.
Yeah, for those who are wondering, Moody sadly can't be with us this week. But we will press on and do the best we can. I don't feel particularly great about my performance as Moody last week in Moody's Time to Shine. I will try and do better this week.
You know what? You've got a second opportunity. And give me the signal, and I'll quickly pull up Egon's entire monologue from Shadow of the Oak Tree.
Yes.
And we can do that. If you're
feeling
with a
hail of harpoons.
With a hail of harpoons.
Exactly. So this first story difference pertains to battle passes. And this was triggered, I want to say. Might be a bad word to use, but essentially there was an article on gamesindustry.biz about Respawn and how it U-turns on battle pass changes following player backlash. So to give you a bit of context, Apex Legends is a title developed by Respawn, and Respawn is the EA studio who brings you stuff like Jedi Fallen Order and things like that. Apex Legends is one of their games, and like most live service games, they have a battle pass. And what they decided to do was make some changes. And one of the things that people could do is they essentially get a battle pass, but everything that was achievable in the battle pass, you could earn and you can pay for with kind of in-game currency.
Yeah,
which is grand.
As a former Apex Legends freak, me and Moody were both heavily into the game during lockdown. The way the battle pass worked was you bought one for whatever season you were in. It lasted for as long as like the season lasted, and you had that long to get to the maximum level. Yeah. And like there was a free track. You got like a couple of bits here and there when you were leveling up, but on the premium track you got like a new thing at every single level, and there was like a shit ton of levels. Like I don't remember. It was like 4 years ago. It was like 100 levels maybe or something like that. But as you were making your way through the track, the premium track, you earned in-game currency, and if you took all of the in-game currency that you earned for one season's worth of battle pass, if you completed the full thing, that was enough currency to buy the next battle pass. So essentially, like if you keep completing the battle pass, you kept getting the next one for free. I just spent all of it on new characters.
And in their internal wisdom, they decided that from next season onwards, well, that was their initial plan anyway, that passes would only be available to purchase with real-world money. So to that story that you told about earning enough in-game currency to pay for the next battle pass, that was going out the window. But they've had change of tune, and they said,
I mean,
quote,
they have to. I'm looking I'm looking at
Exactly.
this fucking image, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
It says, quote, "You've spoken and we've listened." Respawn said a statement posted to social media channels, confirming it will, quote, "restore the ability to get the pass for in-game currency, starting with Season 22, Split 2 on September 17th. That means during Split 1, players can unlock the Premium Pass by completing a series of simple in-game challenges. For Split 2, players will again be able to unlock the pass using in-game currency Apex coins. Quote, "Moving forward, we recognize that we need to be more timely, transparent, and consistent with our communications with you. Your priorities and our priorities, cheaters, game stability, and quality of life updates are top of mind. We need to get better, and it's why we're acknowledging them here." Respawn ended the statement by thanking players for their, quote, "passion and time," end quote, adding it, quote, "couldn't do this without its community," end quote. So this sounds like a tale of fuck around and find out. Because the community popped off, and they thankfully saw the kind of errors in their ways and shifted course, which I thought was interesting.
I'm looking at the Shockwave Battle Pass rewards. It's like the comparison chart, because I didn't know anything about this. I haven't been in Apex Legends for years.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, you've made some choices here. So the first one that sticks out to me as being like, apart from like, because in the graphic it's not, you can't buy a battle pass with Apex coins. Like, you still get all the Apex coins. The first thing that jumps out at me is the old battle pass was every season, like I just said.
Yeah.
The new battle pass is every half season.
Yeah, I think that's what it refers to with the split, as in during Split 1 it was kind of half of the season, then maybe Split 2 is the second half.
Wow, you really pulling that FOMO lever.
Yeah.
A bit harder there. And it's like, okay, so I'm comparing. The free one is the same. But it's old and new. It's just shorter, and you get a couple extra bits. Like, you get an epic character skin, an epic character, whatever, crap.
Yeah.
There's 2 tiers now. So in the old days, there was a premium one, and then there was a premium bundle, and the premium bundle just came with extra coins, and level skips, because there's nothing says you've got a quality game as much as paying extra money to skip some of it.
Ubisoft, take note when you can, if you pre-order the Super Duper Deluxe bundle, then you get an extra talisman that will get you 10% extra XP to grind that even quicker.
Because we know a game's not that great over a long period of time. Yeah, so the premium one, it comes with all the same stuff, 60 levels. You get a few extra loot boxes. They call them Apex packs. They are just loot boxes. And 3 Legend thematic packs. Don't know what those are. And then the Premium Plus comes with 10 level skips, which makes sense, like, because it's half as big as the old one. So you skip the first 10 levels. You get all the shit that you get in the Premium bundle, and like some of the skins, and all legends playable during BP duration is interesting. As someone who had to spend
duration
is someone who had to spend money to buy all the new characters when they came out, if I wanted to play them, including 2 at launch. I remember to buy Mirage. I like Mirage, but yeah, this one, the Premium Plus, you're essentially paying a subscription to use all of the heroes.
Yes.
Well, I'm guessing there's a few now.
And is that a lifetime subscription, or is that a subscription during the season of the Battle Pass?
$19.99 every half season.
Oh, okay.
Double the price of the standard premium edition, which is $9.99. So you're paying an extra $10 for being able to use all the characters, 2 extra skins, and 10 level skips.
Fair enough.
That's how much $10 will net you, or what $10 will net you.
Yeah. So that was what Respawn was doing in their fuck around and find out. We have a time story of this over at Eurogamer. Sony's next live service sci-fi shooter, Concord, won't now have a battle pass. Concord, the upcoming 5v5 hero shooter from Firewalk Studios, is buckling the battle pass trend, with its developers telling players, quote, "You own Concord, Concord doesn't own you." it wanted to quote wanted to focus its attention on making Concord a rewarding and robust experience on day one, where just playing the game, leveling up your accounts and characters, and completing jobs yields meaningful rewards. In a separate post, Concord gameplay animation director Mark Derrida,
The
or
Riddler?
Ridder rather, yeah, riddle with this, Batman. Mark Derrida wrote, "quote No battle pass, folks. You own Concord. Concord doesn't own you." So it should be made clear if you're unaware that Concord is not releasing as a free-to-play game yet. Sony might change their mind on that, but for the moment, it's launching for £35 here in the UK and $40 and whatever that shakes out to in your local currency. Yeah, so I think this is just a change of pace and doing live services a little bit differently. Whether they there's some very interesting stories coming about Concord and its kind of perception pre-launch anyway. So we hear stories of okay, it had a set amount of players during its closed beta, and this was invite only. If you pre-ordered the game, you got access to this closed beta. Then they had an open beta. Now, Amy, here's a question for you. Do you think they had more players during the open beta than they did the closed one? Or fewer?
It's a trick question. I don't care.
Okay. Some reason, or somehow, they managed to have 8% fewer players in the open beta, where everybody was invited, regardless of whether you paid for the game or not already, than the people who bought it in the first place and got access. They were showing off a anime that they produced for this, as well as obviously the in-game cinematics that they seem to produce every week. Everything about this screams more layoffs, and this studio is going to get shuttered, and this game is going to fail. We hear anecdotally of people who've been playing the beta. They're saying, "Oh, I'm having a really great time, but I'm not paying $40 for it." And I think that kind of play. Sorry, Cameron.
No, you go for it.
That kind of play base is kind of being conditioned to, when it comes to their hero shooters and live service games, for it to be a free to play service. And it's one of these where, okay, well, we'll give it out and we'll give it a go for free because we've got no skin in the game. And then if we attach ourselves to the gameplay and we really like that, or we really like the characters and the story that they're trying to tell, then that's how they get you to kind of invest and get you on that grind, for a better word. But they seem to be front loading this, and to their credit, they seem to be aiming to provide a fully featured game from the launch. But anecdotally, it doesn't seem like anybody gives a crap.
And to be clear, my comment before about not caring, I don't care about the player numbers. Like, I do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The more this becomes a thing, like it's just become a thing in the last couple of years of like everybody obsessing over like current player numbers, and like it's not insightful like commentary or like thought. Like I see the news pop up. It's like where it's like, oh, this game is dying because its player base is shrunk by this much. And I'm like, guys, get a hobby. Just get a new hobby.
Yeah.
my ultimate gripe with this goes to single player games. Oh, nobody's played a dead game. It's a single player game, guys. People finished it.
I'm 100% with you. However, for an open beta to have a player concurrent number at its peak of 2,000 players on Steam, I don't reckon that's a great sign. I get that without the context of what other games get, it loses a little bit of value, but 2,000 isn't a high number.
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, I get where you're coming from, and that wasn't aimed at you. That was just aimed at.
No, 100%.
We're like I've seen the posts and the YouTube thumbnails about Concord being dead on arrival or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not a good sign that Concord didn't have like very many players in its open beta, but it's also an open beta for a game that's going to cost money. Like, people might want to try out the open beta to see if they're going to drop £35, £40 or $40 on it, or they're just going to wait to see what someone says about the game to see whether it's something for them. It's also not a launch, so there hasn't been a major marketing push in any way, and they've got Sony bucks behind them, so they can do quite a big marketing push if Sony bothers to remember that this game exists. which
They are releasing a limited edition controller, which looks rather snazzy.
great.
To go with this game.
That costs more money. Like, maybe just get people into your game that no one has heard of because it's a brand new IP before you start trying to sell them, before you start trying to upsell them, Sony.
Yeah.
Like, there was a while ago, this is a total tangent. A while ago, like, I considered, like, like getting into, like, marketing, like games PR and games marketing and stuff. And I thought, no, I don't have the skill set for that. But, like, I look around at decisions that are being made by giant corporations, and I think maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like we'll see what happens. Like we saw the big trailer reveal at the PlayStation State of Play, and like I wasn't impressed, but I also wasn't the target audience. So I've kind of just put it out of my mind since then. I like this move to not have a battle pass. There's no double dip. I would have just assumed Concord was going to do the double dip.
If you pay for the game and then you pay for everything.
Like Helldivers 2. Now, cue everybody to get mad at me because I said something bad about everybody's favorite game.
That's not satirical at all. It's accurate commentary on that.
It's not. It's accurate commentary. They double dip.
Yeah.
Like, you have to buy the game and then you have to buy the battle pass. Pick one.
Hey, democracy isn't free. Neither is freedom.
No, I've noticed in the last few months. But yeah, no, I'm not actually mad at Helldivers 2. Like, I think it's a shitty business model, but that's their business, not mine. The thing that I find interesting about battle passes and the discourse around battle passes is the same drum I've been beating for years, which we talked about briefly before I hit record, which is I don't understand. I get why battle passes exist. It's extra income for the studio, for the developer, for the publisher, mostly for the publisher and the shareholders. But like, as players, like, who demand these battle passes and like other like things that they can buy with real money to continue their investment in the game, I don't know when it happened that why people feel the need to be tricked into playing a game for longer. Because that's the thing about the Apex Legends, because I played it like 2 battle passes, I think, all the way at completion. And I did that because I was playing the game anyway. In fact, I think it was 3, but I think 1 I didn't make it all the way at the end, but it was fine because I wasn't like trying to grind out the levels. Like, because you could do challenges to gain extra XP, and it would be like, play 3 matches as this character, and I would like Moody and Keith would keep trying to do their challenges, and it would be like 3 matches as fucking Octane, and I'd be like, I don't fucking like Octane. I'm not playing Octane. Fuck that shit. I want to actually enjoy myself. And like, I get the FOMO. Like, there's stuff where you look through the track, and it's like, well, that looks pretty cool. I would like to have that. That's pretty awesome. And there's that excitement of being like, I've just unlocked this cool skin for a character I use. But also, like, when I played Overwatch, I made a video years ago about like I am a loot box addict. It was the same thing with like Magic the Gathering. It was a whole thing, but in a non-funny way. Like, I had a problem.
Oh, okay, we got a problem.
Yeah, no, sorry, I had a legit problem, like a crippling financial problem. But yeah, like, no, that's fine. I realized, like, no, I should explain. I'm being serious. But it was the Mass Effect 3 as well. Like, was a weird one that got it too excited.
I bought a few of those. Yeah,
I bought a lot of those. But like, when I stopped opening loot boxes. I became quite well known amongst our gaming group, and when I was streaming, like, from the Words About Games Twitch channel, I never opened loot boxes. People used to get tilted at me because I'd have like 50 loot boxes, and I'm like, I'm not opening them because I know where that leads. And like, I still played the game because I was playing the game to have fun playing the game with my friends.
I guess it's a similar argument to those who chase trophies or achievements in terms of. But for me, if I earn a set of trophies or achievements just by playing the game, that's the best kind for me. If I then have to go out my way to kind of to grind and do something that isn't a particular activity I want to do in game just to get a trophy, then that's where the fun stops. And if you're a trophy hunter or an achievement hunter out there, then more power to you. If that's your bag and that's what gets the endorphins and the dopamine going, then all power to you, kind of thing. Different strokes for different folks, but I imagine it's similar to those who have the FOMO of battle passes and things like that in terms of that track. The only battle pass that I got invested in was the hot summer Fall Guys during lockdown, and it was like, oh, there's a kind of like battle pass here, but you didn't have to pay for it. It was just play the game and earn. And the more games you played, kind of the further along the track you'd go,
and that's cool. Like that's just,
and
that's what we call that as
things.
Progression. Like that's just how a game should work. It's like if a game has rewards, and I get that argument. Or that like that's that point of view where it's like if a game doesn't have good progression systems that aren't incentivizing you to keep playing it, it's like the fun will only take you so far if you do. Because the thing about multiplayer games is they tend to be repetitive. And then it's like there are some games where it's like the repetition doesn't matter. Like Overwatch never mattered to me. It was like I played that game for hundreds of hours. I could have kept playing it for hundreds of hours until they ruined it. But with like Fall Guys, again, like I played the game because it was fun, but like it was cool to unlock new stuff. But like the part where I miss out is the part where it's like, why should I have to pay for this?
Yes, yeah.
Like if your game's not
is
fun,
my time not enough?
Yeah. It's like if your game's not fun in the first instance, like it's not going to get any funner with a battle pass. I guess I'm arguing against. I guess I'm like pushing back against something different than just the inclusion of a battle pass. I'm pushing back against an argument that hasn't been made. It had like not in this particular podcast or in this particular news stream. I guess I'm pushing back on something else. But like I don't know, man. Like when they introduced level systems into Call of Duty, it was a bit weird. But it turned out like that's pretty good. But what I thought was funny was like I never prestiged in those games. I was like, no, I unlocked all this stuff. You want me to give it away? But I like using it.
It's like New Game Minus.
What the fuck do I want to do? Why the fuck do I want to play New Game Minus in this stupid thing? Like, fuck off.
But it's like you said, the market conditions will determine whether these practices continue, and either gamers need to make a collective and concerted effort to say, okay, knock this shit off. We've had enough of paying for battle passes. Or they're just going to continue to give these companies money, which is only going to incentivize them to do this practice more. And I think that's where we land ourselves. And until we collectively decide, no, enough is enough, kind of thing, then this will keep happening. But good on Respawn for listening to their fans and not just having the big wizard at EA saying, no, more money now, give money now, kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing.
Which I'm sure those conversations are happening, but Respawn are doing that in spite of that.
If you're going to make a free game, you have to be able to make money somehow. That's like the one time. That's the one time I will like say that's a legitimate argument. Video games need to make money somehow. Like fucking, we didn't see Nathan Drake advertise in Subway. All right, fuck off.
And spoil a huge cutscene at like one of the pivotal moments of Uncharted 3 while doing it.
Like that's not when games are too expensive to make. We just want more money for our shareholders. But the thing is, can I like take a really unpopular opinion on this Apex Legends Battle Pass situation?
Go for it.
Like I like the fact that you can earn the coins to buy the battle pass for free. Essentially, if you put that time investment in, it worked for me. I did that. That's cool. I actually really liked the fact that they removed the ability to pay for the battle pass with coins, specifically because I've always had this issue with any video game, sadly not just free to play ones, where the purchase of things has to be done with currencies. So you have to convert your money into Funbox to pay for the things, because it's a psychological trick of like, well, I'm not spending money, I'm spending Apex coins.
Yes.
No, you're spending money.
And there's very few ways to get that money back out.
Yeah.
Once it's $1, there's no XC.com will
Yeah.
exchange that back into real world money.
It's just I like any game that'll remove that mechanism and just say no, it's $10. Like
Yes.
that's how much money you are spending there. And in any game that does it, like if I have to convert my £10 into 6,000 bleeble blowups, then nah, I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah.
Because it's very slimy behavior.
So absolutely. Then you get to store pages where they won't actually let you convert the actual amount that you need. It'll be slightly too
You
less
have to buy the bundles.
much.
Yeah, you always have to buy the
absolutely.
bundles, and there's the best value bundle, and it's like I could spend £100 on 7 million bleeble blobs. Like that's two games, and not good games, AAA games. That's like 10 good games.
Yep. A couple of amazing gems thrown in there as well.
Yeah, ooh, but you'll get 10% extra if you buy this bundle. Like, how about I just fucking buy a different game?
Yes. I'll show you.
Fuck you. Like I don't like begrudge giving money to developers. Like the whole tipping incident by that jackass from Activision Blizzard. Like I have done that. I have chucked a bit of money at a developer for like some like DLC or something if I've been enjoying the game a lot. Like Apex Legends, I bought the Battle Pass specific because I was like, you know what, I've had dozens of hours of enjoyment out of this. Yeah, have some money, you've earned it, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
No, totally with you.
It does go too far in some games.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, and some of these developers and publishers like to slide all the way down.
If you give them an inch, they'll take the fucking world.
Indeed. Where would you like to go next, my friend?
It's in order, Vitz. This is the thing about the new podcast. The new podcast is in order.
Okay. Well, then it's over to you, my friend.
Yeah, I've taken back control. I Brexited the podcast. I wish I could fucking Brexit. As in, like, exit Britain.
Yes. I would very much like to Brexit this government.
I would like to Brexit this country. Please. Yeah. So I came up with a little thing. It was a couple of weeks ago. And everyone's going to see the title and they think, Amy's on one again. This is a ranking Resident Evil moment. She's going to take the piss for the next 20 minutes. And like, this is so I just want to get out in front and say, this is in earnest. So Moody, we were talking about difficult video games a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and Moody said something that resonated with me about. I think you asked him directly if he was going to play Elden Ring or
I did
one of those games.
I said, as anything, because we were talking about Shadow of the Erdtree and about all the amazing, story beats and the things you can explore and find in that game. And the question I posed to him was anything that we said likely to entice you to play the game? And then they came back with a point to say, okay, the difficulty curve is too much, and I think and correct me if I'm wrong on saying that, they said the accessibility just isn't there for them to be able to play the game the way that it's currently set up to be played.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not here to argue about the accessibility.
100%.
The point that resonated with me specifically, because I don't know if he used the word intimidating or if everything he said basically like could be summed up as the games are intimidating, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's how I felt before I actually dove in and played the games. Like they are at this point, they are very intimidating to anyone who isn't good at video games. I'm not good at video games. I'm going to state that for record right now. I suck at video games, and people know it. I play them on Twitch all the time. Everyone can see how bad I am at the video games. But I also love Souls games. I'm playing one right now. Not right now, but I'm playing one at the moment.
Hey,
So
Amy, consummate professional, never plays games during the podcast.
I can't say that. No, I can't say that. It's true. I did an xCloud demonstration when I got into the beta. I literally pulled my phone out and I was like, "Look, I'm playing. I think it was a fighting game." I was like, "Oh, look, I'm playing Street Fighter
Killer
or whatever." Yeah, it might have been Killer Instinct. But yeah, no. How to get good? Because as someone who's bad, I might add that into the title. How to get good for someone who's bad? Because
Like me. You were like, yeah,
the first time I heard of a Souls game was in 2013. I'd never heard of Demon Souls. I was not aware of Dark Souls. I went to EGX. I met up with my good and close friend Kirsty, who is twitch.tv/TinySharkPlayer. She's amazing. You should go and follow her.
shout out to them.
And like we met up with a bunch of other people, and they all wanted to play the demo for Dark Souls 2. And I was like, they all know each other. I don't. I'm the only one out here. I'm not going to push back. I don't really know what this game is. The only thing I know about it is it's hard. So we went, we queued up, we played it, we sat down, and I'm playing this demo of Dark Souls 2. And I got demolished by like 2 skeletons. Like I was running around in circles, I couldn't figure out where to go, falling off the ledges. 2 skeletons were killing me all over and over again. And I stopped the demo. Like it was a 20-minute demo. I stopped playing after 10 minutes. And I was the demo station next to the queue, which didn't help me which didn't help me feeling like really embarrassed.
Yeah, everybody like rubbernecking.
Everybody's looking, and they're all waiting to play this game that they're probably all really excited about, and I'm just here because everybody else likes it. So I literally I put the controller down, and the person I was sat next to, he was in like the group that I just started watching them play it, and they were actually pretty good at it. But like in that moment, I was like, too hard, not for me.
Yeah.
And the next year I played a Bloodborne demo, and it was the same deal. Like it was too hard, not for me. Like glad I gave it a go. And I did actually buy Bloodborne.
As many people have done.
6 months later, when it came out, I bought it. Even though I was like, I'd played a demo, and I was like, I'm sure this isn't for me. And I tried it, and I was like, I played it for a few hours. And like,
I added it to my PS Plus library when it came out to PS Plus at one time. I don't have PS Plus anymore, so I don't access it. But yeah, I too added it even before I played like Elden Ring or things like that.
It goes on sale all the time. Some say it's the best one of the lot. Some being me. But yeah, like I played it for a few hours and I didn't put it away. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But like the clues were all there. It's like, why do I keep trying this? But yeah, in 2020, I was like, you know what'll be fun? I've been locked in my house for 3 months. I'm going to do a birthday stream. I'm going to play a Bloodborne because I owned it. And I was like, it was the only one of these games that I owned. And I was like, I want to play a game where I just get tilted at a video game for a couple hours. Like, we'll all have a good laugh. It'll be a good time.
It's made for good content. Absolutely, yeah.
And obviously, I got tilted for a bit. And then I kept playing. And then I kept playing. And then Cleric Beast died. And I was like, oh, I actually made some progress. And then I kept playing and I kept playing. And I was dying left, right, and center. And then I killed Father Gascoigne, and then I was like exploring the next thing, and I was like, oh, at a certain point, I was like, oh, I'm actually like playing the game.
Yeah.
Like competently. Put that in like put an asterisk next to that word. But yeah, no, like from then on I never looked back, like Bloodborne, and then I tried Dark Souls 1. It was a bit too, I don't want to say clunky because people get mad at me when I say that, but it was a bit clunky. Someone recommended Dark Souls 3. I played that, fucking smashed that out, and then like Demon Souls remake, and then I've done them all at this point. Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1, 2, Bloodborne like 4 times. And I just wanted to just like, I've got 5 steps here of how to get good. And that doesn't mean get good at the game. That means how to get into these games if you want to get into them. I'm not sitting here saying you definitely should play them. You'd really love them. I'm saying if it's something that you've decided, that you've at some point thought, I want to try this.
Yeah.
But I'm here to take that but out of the equation.
Let's put this in some context. If you are Squidward looking through the grate at SpongeBob and Patrick running through the Lands Between or any of these games, and you're there saying, "Well, secretly that looks like fun. Yeah. How do I go join them?" kind of thing. This is
exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna try based on my experiences. It took me 7 years of trying to get into it. And then I did, and now I won't shut up about it. Everybody's mad at me all the time. I just keep shouting "Curse you, Bale" at everybody. It's a problem. So yeah, step one. It's really simple. Really easy to follow. Do the thing. Like if you want to play a Souls game, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, 2, 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, do it. Like, there's nothing actually stopping you, apart from if you don't own it. Then, the laws are stopping you, I guess. But, like, you just have to boot the game up and start playing it. Essentially that's what works for me. Crazy, I know, right? Like, I eventually just sat down and actually played the game, and that's step one. There is no, like, clever, like, bullet point underneath it. It's like, if you've seen one of these games and gone, that looks like fun, but it's just pick that one. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Pick one of them. Yeah. Every Souls game is someone's first Souls game. Like,
absolutely, Elden Ring was a first for a lot of people.
Yeah, Elden Ring is a good choice to a point.
Yeah.
That point is about halfway through. But Elden Ring is a great choice to start with because you've got this whole big world you can go and explore. Like, you get stuck here, go over there, and then over there, and then over there, and then you'll probably come back and you'll wonder how you were stuck in this place. Step 2. It's going to sound like I'm saying the same step over again, but I'm actually not. It's because step 2 is play the game. And what I mean by that is the game, any of these games, I don't want to say you can play them wrong, but there's a certain way you have to approach them.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You need to be receptive to the way the game wants to be played. This isn't like, you can't just start mashing all of the attack buttons and win. Like, it's not that kind of action game. The thing that helped me the most playing Bloodborne was the fact that I forced myself to play it for many hours for other people's entertainment. And, like, eventually I started listening to the game. It's like, oh, maybe I should, like, take it a bit slower. Like, maybe I shouldn't run into a group of 10 people and start swinging a fucking giant axe around. It's like, maybe if I just, like, peel them off. Oh, I found this cool rock. Oh, that got what? You know what I mean? And it's like, this is how the parry works. This is how the dodge works. Healing and, like, getting into the rhythm of the game. We talk a lot on this podcast when we talk about the games that we play, about the rhythms of the games. And Souls games are no exception. It has a rhythm. It just has a different rhythm to what you might be used to. It has a very unique rhythm, even amongst the wider Souls-like genre. I hate that word. Souls-like genre.
No, 100%. There's a different cadence to each of these games, and each of the and I know obviously there's a lot of choice, and to your point of there's no like bad choices to where to start. Each of these games has an onboarding process. Now, some are more better than others. Having said that, each of them will, as soon as you go into the game and start the game, step number 1. They will give you tutorials in terms of, and they won't, not any of these games will say, okay, just hit all the buttons and hope for the best. They will tell you piece by piece, okay, this is what this does, this is what that does, kind of thing. And then it's up to you to kind of figure out what are the situations to use, whatever tactics you are going to do. And it is, I will say, it is a different type of game to many other action games where you can essentially button mash and get through it. But this one demands I'm going to say it demands a little patience on your half, and you've got to give it the time that it deserves, rather than saying, okay, I've tried it for 2 minutes, it hasn't worked for me, therefore I'm done with you, good day.
Yeah, I feel like if you're in that camp, you fail. I don't say failed. You've washed out at step 1 of these things where it's like, maybe this wasn't something you actually wanted to do. And that's fine. Like, that's totally fine. Again, these are just tips for people who want to get into it for whatever reason. Story, lore, like, vibes, but feel like they can't. You can. If I can do it, and he can do it, because I've seen him play games as well, anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it.
We are the worst gamers you're going to meet, I guarantee it.
Is it too late to rebrand the podcast?
We suck.
Exactly.
But yeah, the biggest sort of hurdle is like avoiding damage, and like you just have to get in, feel the rhythm of the game, and once you do, you will feel the rhythm of the game. Like once it's into you, so that would be step 2. Just play the game the way the game wants to be played. You have to do
Feel
this
the
with all
rhythm, feel
sorts
the
of other
ride.
games. You know, you play like a strategy game, you have to, know how all of the stuff works, like the units and there's like damage types and counters and stuff like that. Like, you can't just brute force your way through it. These games are no different. They've just built up a
Final Fantasy
reputation.
7 many games will teach you. You can't just brute force your way through them.
Exactly.
You got to learn what all the pieces do.
You can't brute force your way through Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Why would you be able to brute force your way through Dark Souls?
Exactly.
Step number 3. Step? Is it steps? Advice number 3. Guides.
Statement number 3. Yeah.
Number C. Guides are your friend. So these games, all the way from Demon Souls, all the way up to Elden Ring, they've been designed to mimic the experience of playing games before the internet. So they're quite esoteric. They're very hard to read. And like the way Souls community would describe it is they don't hold your hand. They just do it in very obscure ways, and they're designed in a way where it's like, you remember when you played games as a kid, and it would be like you would all be playing a game, and then you would all like talk about it, and you would like swap tips. So like, I'm stuck on this, how do I get through it? And you're like, oh, I did this, so I went over here and found this, and it's like, holy shit, I never even went over there. Based children saying holy shit all of the time, I guess. But like that's the kind of vibe that all of these games are going for. And what I've found is, and I found this when I was replaying Elden Ring recently, is just have a guide. You can have a full walkthrough if you want, where it's like, go here, do this, go here, do this, go here, do this. Or you could just have like a vague thing that I had, which was just like, hey, this person's going to be in this place. And it's like, oh, I guess I should go over there now. And I saw so much more of the game that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And so even I did it. And it's just like, it's a great way to see the game. If you need to, it's a great way to find things that you might need. More on that in stage 4. Yes. More on that in step 4. But like it's just a great way to see the game and also know where you're supposed to be going. It's pretty easy to spot the main path through a Souls game, but there's a lot of opportunities for going in different directions, and sometimes you should take those opportunities and find some cool stuff, and sometimes you end up in Caelid.
Yes.
Way too quickly.
It's a cool weapon to get and it's articulated, but yeah, unless you set up for a plan of, right, I'm going to run into Caelid, I'm going to get this thing because I've looked it up in the guide, and then I'm going to book it out of there. Don't go to Caelid.
Great idea, by the way. It's like, like look up builds. Like, we'll touch on that now. I guess these are kind of linked. Because number 4, it's only fun if you're having fun. The thing about you probably hear, and what sounds intimidating about Souls games the most is obviously the difficulty, which really started with, I don't want to call out reviewers, but if you ever scroll through the Dark Souls 1 Metacritic, it's horrifying. The things these people said about this game when it came out is like, no one should play these games. And they were saying good things. They were like 10 out of 10. Like one of the reviews was like, it's a bundle of death, hopelessness, and despair, 9 out of 10. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, who would buy this? Like, so many reviews are like, oh yeah, it's great if you're a masochist. And I'm like, I don't think there are as many masochists out there as you think they are.
That's a niche market. It's a niche within a niche, that's for sure.
Like, the game isn't going to physically hurt anyone, so that's a very small niche. But yeah, as you may know, if you've listened to this podcast, I am not a masochist, but I love all of these games. You can really mitigate the difficulty. Instead of having a difficulty selector at the beginning of the game, what From Software did was they put all of the options for the difficulty inside the game. Dark Souls 1 has an option, for example, to kindle bonfires. any bonfire you want, you can kindle it if you have the correct item. And if you kindle it, it gives you extra Estus flasks every time you rested it.
Ah.
And that's an option. That's a thing no one really talks about for some reason. And it's like, there's an easy mode right there, because the more healing you have, the more mistakes you could make. The more mistakes so if you make a lot of mistakes, you can get more healing. It's great. I figured this out by accident while I was streaming the remaster, and I was like, wait, why do I have 10 Estus instead of 5? Where the fuck did I get all this extra Estus from? And I was like, wait, I did it again. I had 15. I was like, holy shit. I found easy mode, guys. But yeah, you hear a lot to talk about from some of the loudest people in the Souls community. And the Souls community at large is like most gaming communities. It's really wonderful. We'll talk about that in the next step, but there is a loud and toxic minority of people that you might have heard say, you know, oh, you have to beat the game using your bare hands with only a fucking bandana on and in your underwear, otherwise it's not valid. It's valid. There are a lot of tools in all of these games, but I'm going to use Elden Ring as, apart from the Dark Souls, I'm going to use Elden Ring as like the example, where it's like, you can use summons. Summons are the ultimate, like, help in these games.
Mimic Tear was my best friend. Sorry, Torrent, you're a close second, but Mimic Tear, they were my guy.
So, like, in most of the games, there'll be the opportunity to summon NPC characters going into a lot of bosses, and they help too because they do extra damage. But crucially, they take the boss's attention away, so you're not constantly facing them. In Elden Ring, you have summons that you can use in every boss battle. Hell, you could use them in areas sometimes that are quite tricky. But yeah, they're beast mode. Like, they're fantastic. Like, if one of the struggles is like constantly being under pressure, you can summon, and then you won't constantly be under pressure.
Yeah, and you can find Grave Gloveworts, and then you can make these summons stronger. And some of them you can give, essentially, if you have items on your person when you summon, cast the summon, I should say, then the summon will also have those items and they can use them, whether it be in Elden Ring, strips of meat that they can eat to buff to give themselves a buff, or to healing items and things like that as well. So there's a lot you can do, but you do need to tinker with them rather than just say, okay, it's me on my own, I've got a sword and a shield, and then that's it. You're not alone when it comes to this.
And speaking of swords and shields, despite what all of the box arts will tell you, apart from Bloodborne, because there's no shields in that game, you don't have to use a sword and a shield.
Sword and board is not the only option, my friends.
It's great for when you're learning, like being able to block damage, but it might actually be a harder way to play than dodging and keeping your distance, for me personally. I've never really been a blocker, what can I say? But yeah, there are weapons, so many different weapons. If you have an idea, and this goes across all of the games, this isn't just Elden Ring, like, you can find a playstyle that works for you, and then you can find a weapon inside that playstyle that will carry you all the way through the game. Because this isn't like a typical RPG where you keep needing to swap your weapons every time you find a new one. It's like, no, you can pick up a weapon and maybe like use it for the entire game. Yes, you can do that. And some of these weapons are easy mode. They make the game a hell of a lot less challenging. Like, I'm thinking like Bloodhound Fang. I'm thinking Blasphemous Blade. I'm thinking magic. Magic is great because you know what you can do with magic? Shoot it from a distance.
Range is the key, and you can essentially summon like a Kamehameha and
can do that.
anything that stands in your way.
Fun fact, when I beat Elden Ring the first time, Malekith's first phase never happened.
The Beast Clergyman,
he walked towards me, and I just went... and then the cutscene started playing for phase 2.
And again, it's a completely valid way to play these games. There is not some... when you finish any of these games, there's not a screen that it comes with you to say, okay, this is what you're equipped with. These are all the things you turned off. This is how much you struggle to beat the game. It's just, no, you are the Elden Lord or whatever happens to be in the game you're playing, kind of thing. You did the thing. And however you cross that finish line, it's still crossing that finish line. Don't let anybody else tell you any different.
I used everything at my disposal in
Like it's
every
supposed to.
in every one of these games. I use everything I've
Yeah.
got like to get through them. That's totally valid. Like yeah, so like research, like play the game, mess around with some weapons because you pick up a lot of weapons
Experiment,
without
absolutely.
even like really exploring. Like if you just pick things up you find on the ground, you'll get like a bunch of different types of weapons, and you just need to figure out what kind of style works for you, and then maybe go back to step 3. I really like magic. What's a good magic build? And you'll find
Look at that.
tons of different options, and they will tell you, go get this weapon from here, go get these spells from here, blah, blah, blah. You put your stats in all of this stuff, and it's great. You can also overlevel. Most of the Souls games, it's very easy to accidentally overlevel. In Elden Ring, it's almost impossible not to.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because again, they might have made it a bit too big, but like if you do like a good job exploring before you hit all of the major bosses, like you're gonna be way over leveled for each of those bosses.
Absolutely, and then there's some specific spots in Elden Ring where you can farm runes really easily, and you can do this while you're relatively low level, and it will over level you a ton for most of the early and mid game stuff, which makes things a lot easier. So it means you can have the flexibility to try different weapons, try different builds, to see what suits your playstyle. To Amy's point before, finding all the different weapons. When it comes to builds as well, we're not necessarily just talking about a sword and board or just having a staff, that kind of thing. It's experimenting with how much weight your build is. So in Elden Ring, that's the only one I can speak to because that's the only one I've played, kind of thing, uncompleted. But it's there is when you roll, there's a heavy, medium, and light build to your character that you do, and that's governed by the weight of your armor that you're carrying, and whatever talismans you might have to either boost stamina, which increases your weight, your carrying capacity, or it might be strength, or one of them, kind of thing. But yeah, and then that governs how fast or slow you roll away from attacks. And as Amy pointed to earlier, getting out of the way of attacks is the best way of avoiding them. And if you're quote unquote fat rolling because you have a heavy build on, that may or may not suit your playstyle. And it's this kind of risk and reward of being light on your feet but not dealing much damage, but being slow on your feet and being able to carry a sword the size of a school bus and whack them over the head with it.
You can swing in the opposite direction and just like have massive armor and a giant sword and just stand there as bosses hit you, and you're just not you're just unmoving.
You are the turret.
I don't want to get into specifics. But yes, the point being. There are so many different options. Like even within like each like play style, you'll find like multiple options. But it's funny you mentioned the fat rolling versus the light rolling. It's like when I was streaming Demon Souls, I think my chat thought I was showing off. There was a boss I was struggling with, and it was because it was doing immense amounts of damage to me when it hit me. So I took all my armor off. Because I was like, and I knew what I was doing was I was trying to give myself more iframes. But chat thought I was.
For those who aren't aware, iframes are invincibility frames. So when you roll in any of these games, you have a portion of the animation where you are impervious to any attack coming your way. So people use the term iframes as a short way of saying that.
I was just going for the iframes. Everyone thought I was showing off. Oh, look at this gamer over here. It's like, no, I'm dying. I need the help.
Amy's like, I have become, let me solo her.
God, no. I was just being bad at the game, and I was like, I know how I can be a little bit better, but it's going to look real stupid. I took all my clothes
running out
off.
there, nothing but your undercrackers on, absolutely.
I also got a third of the way into Demon Souls, and I found the spell that makes everything catch on fire, and I killed one of the bosses in one shot by accident. I was like, oh, look, there's a boss. Kaboom! It's dead. Oops.
There you go.
There's also exploration. And I was going to mention blocking, but we already mentioned it. And there's also running away from things. Like, if you're trying to progress from point A to point B, don't feel like you have to fight everything in your path. I just went through. I'm gonna tell the story. Dark Souls 2. I was playing it a day, and I got to Heidi's tower, and I was really struggling, man. There's these knights. They're huge. They've got massive weapons, tons of armor, and I'm standing there with my little rapier, like, boop, boop. I was getting obliterated. And I was stuck there for about 10 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going for it, and I just ran through the level, and I was like, oh, left or right? I'll try right. It's a dead end. Dodge. Go the other way. And I got
Amy's
to the
like
boss.
an NFL player carrying the ball all the way to the end zone.
And I carried it to the end zone, and I got to the boss. And it's the, whatchamacallem, Dragon Slayer, Dragon Rider, Dragon something. People who played Dark Souls 3 will know. And I know nothing about this game. But you walk in on this little platform, and then it's like a round thing, and then there's a platform on the way out, and there's a gap around the side.
Okay.
And this big guy starts walking towards me, and I was like, I'm there with my little rapier. I'm like, all right, motherfucker, I got this guy. And he swung, and I dodged, and I went behind him, and I poked him a couple of times, and he fell off and died.
There you go.
And I was like, I recorded it for footage, and I just looked down the hole for a bit, and then I was like, cool. And then I just stopped walking off. I was like, any victory is a victory.
Oh,
Again,
100%.
It's only fun if you're having fun.
Yeah.
And number 5, call a friend. I mentioned the
Yes.
I mentioned the Souls community is very nice and very helpful. And in all of these games, you can summon other people into your game to help you fight bosses. In Elden Ring, you can do it a bit more. But in most of the other games, it's usually just bosses.
Yeah.
And like all of these games are still being played. All of them. So like whichever one you choose to play, there'll be people out there, and there'll be people out there who want to help.
And the people who have have built their character around taking on certain bosses. So there was a I want to say myth, more of a legend of let me solo her. And this was a person who built their character, and they were dressed in nothing but a pot on their head and a weapon in their hand. Their whole goal was to be summoned to take on Melania, Blade of Mikula, possibly the toughest enemy in Elden Ring. And
Not possibly.
Yes. I'm not sure if there's any secret bosses that we haven't found yet, or that kind of thing, so I didn't want to say. But their whole shtick was being there as a friend, as a confidant for people to summon in, and to help take on this boss. And there are loads of these instances where people will always be down to come in and help.
I got stuck on gargoyles in Dark Souls 1. And I there's an NPC summon. It's the guy that praises the sun. Is an NPC summon for that fight. But I was being attacked by skeletons while I was trying to like summon stuff. So I just hit all of the buttons. And I was like, cool, I did it. And I walked through the door. The gargoyle's coming. Solaire walked through the door. And I was like, cool, let's go. And then this huge guy, yellow, also walked through the door. And I was like, wait, are there 2 summons in this fight? And then he just went and fucking obliterated the bosses. And I was like, all right. And then I was someone in chat was like, that was another player. And I was like, oh.
Is that it counts?
Cool. They're dead. I can climb and ring the bell. But even Dark Souls. So Dark Souls 2, and there's Dark Souls, Scholar of the First Sin. Scholar of the First Sin is like the one that you can buy. Dark Souls 2 is a much more difficult game to buy for PC. But like even I'm playing that, and there's like people playing it. You can see like the shadows come in and out. I'm like, people are still playing this game. Like if people are still playing this game, they're playing all of them. But also, if you have friends who like these games, the chances are they're down to replay them. Like, and if you want, you can probably ask them for help, and they'll probably, if they can, help you.
Or they'll be able to talk you through some of the tactics that they used in order to best whichever challenge you're struggling with.
If it's the gargoyles, get someone else to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, those are my 5 tips for getting good if that's something that you want to do. I'm not here to be like, you should play these games, god damn it. Like, play them if you want. But I get sad when I think of people wanting to play them, but being put off by the perception of them.
Don't be like Squidward.
Because I was that person. For years, I was that person. I wanted to play them, but I was always like, no, I'm too intimidated to play them. And I didn't need to be.
Friends, if you love this segment as much as I did, why not let us know in the YouTube comments of this very podcast episode down below. I really enjoyed this segment, and I would like to propose of doing a similar one, all about racing games and how to quote unquote get good into those. Because while I am terrible at video games, I am less terrible at racing games, and I might be able to impart some wisdom in that segment.
Put it on the docket. I thought you were going to say, I'm going to play Bloodborne. And I was like, fucking yes.
I might do that too, but yeah.
Fuck yes. I'll roll in with you. Like, you want to summon me for the bosses? I'll be there.
There you go.
Like the song says. The song was about Bloodborne, I'm sure of it. I'll be there.
Now, my perception of Bloodborne, this is another tangent, is that is infinitely scarier than anything that Elden Ring
It's
throws
definitely
your way.
scarier because it is a horror. It is a horror universe. Not a horror game, but it is like, it's gothic horror. Like,
I don't do too well with the hairy scary games.
Okay.
That is my only caveat.
Interesting.
You know how we have a horror
I'm putting,
scary game?
I'm putting some things together here. Fascinating.
Like you said, you can summon people in to hold your hand all the way through this.
Sure,
so,
and yeah, more or less. I mean, I can help you from afar. Yes. No, Vitz, run, turn left. A single door is what ended up. A single door is what ended up getting me into all of these games, because like there's a shortcut to the first boss, and once you know it's there, like it's so easy to get to the boss. Otherwise, it's nearly impossible. Like if you're bad and struggling.
Oh, if you're doing the run back.
Yeah, the run back is huge, but if you unlock this gate, it's nothing. And I credit that gate with being the thing that got me into Souls games, because I don't think without that gate, I don't think I would have made it. But anyway, it's time for a bit of a half time. Get some oxygen into the room time. But first, it's time. In fact, no, we're going to do this after the break because I need a break.
All right.
And I have that power, so let's do that. We'll see you in a moment. This is swearing. Peace.
What's good, everybody? I hope you're having the best day. The Words About Games podcast is fundraising for the fabulous team over at Special Effect. If you didn't know, Special Effect is a charity that transforms the lives of physically disabled people all over the world through innovative use of technology. The heart of their work is the mission to maximize fun by helping people control video games to the best of their abilities. They're bringing families and friends together, having a profoundly positive impact in quality of life, confidence, and rehabilitation. Amy, Moody, and I have been working on a number of streams to bring you a whole host of shows, games, shenanigans, and more. Everything from ranking Resident Evil, becoming the noble team in Halo Reach, and finding our competitive streak in legally distinct and 90s game shows. We've got several more charity streams in the works, and with your help, we can get there. Special Effect is a charity near and dear to our hearts, and we'd love your support in raising as much money as possible to bring the joy of video games to so many more people. Simply click on the link in the description below of wherever you're enjoying this podcast, or scan the QR code you see now. That will take you to our Just Giving page, where you can learn more and donate. If you're not in a position to donate, that's more than okay. Times are tough and we understand. Please consider sharing our Just Giving page on social media. It will help spread the word and the work that we're doing. Thanks for listening, and for now, let's get back to the podcast.
Hello, I hope everybody enjoyed that little interstitial break with one lovely Vitz Patel.
Hope you're not sick of me yet.
I mean, you're going to be here the entire time anyway, so...
Yeah, this is true. But now they have extra of me.
Oh, really? Because if that didn't exist, it'd still be here. Like, we would just cut to this.
That's true.
And you're, like, right there, so... So it's fine. Anyway, it's time for Indie Game of the Week. This is the thing we do every week where we talk about a cool-looking upcoming indie game that we think you should put on your wish list, or at least click the link and give it a look. Remember, if you like Indie Game of the Week, or you just like indie games in general, we have a Steam curator page linked in the description wherever you're choosing to listen to or watch this podcast with all of our previous indie games of the week. So you can go and find a bunch of indie games, more than 100 indie games. It's indie game heaven.
There is.
There's not enough indie games of the week. There's not enough weeks for me to shout out all the indie games I want to shout out.
That's it, yeah.
But this week's indie game of the week is called CORPUS EDAX. CORPUS EDAX is a game in which you create your character and make your own choices in this immersive first-person melee RPG. Fight, talk, or sneak your way out of your confrontation. Your decision is the right decision. It's like what I just said. It's only fun if you're having fun.
There you go.
So this is an immersive sim. It's first-person immersive
I hear you
sim.
like those.
I kind of like those. Kind of a fan. You might hear a lot more about them when we do our favorite games charity milestone live stream.
Yeah.
Including a bunch of games I just talked about. But yeah. You know, like there's more in this description that I've written, but it's really nicely summed up by that opening paragraph. You know, you can go as a stealthy ninja, or you can fight, or you can put points into a lure and scheme your way past confrontation.
Oh, yes.
Love an immersive sim where you don't have to fight anything.
Yeah. When in doubt, be a bard and just style it out.
Hey, talk, seduce, charm, or decept. I don't know. Deception your way out of these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a Steam link to the game in the description. It'll also be on our Steam curator page. You can click that. You can add this to your wish list and all of our previous indie games. You can buy a lot of them. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. Some of these games have come out. Our batting average, pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Yeah. I like our batting average. Anyway, since we've been doing this new format of the podcast where each person brings what they want to talk about into the show with them.
That has been a trend.
Vitz has been going with a vibe. And I don't know if I like this vibe. I don't know if I'm vibing with this vibe. But I did say, whatever you want to talk about, that's what you want to talk about. It's only fun if you're having fun. Wait, that doesn't work.
Yes. There's not much fun in fascism, but there is news. And last week we spoke about the allegations of Microsoft and then getting rid of DEI teams and various other initiatives with the view of Project 2025 coming into play with if Republican nominee Donald J. Trump managed to find his way back into the Oval Office despite being impeached twice and having 34 felon accounts against his name and being found guilty of all counts, but somehow that still might be a thing. But this week, Twitch decided to reinstate Donald Trump's account following a permanent ban in 2021. That statement, the math doesn't math, but we'll crack on anyway.
There's no such thing as a permanent ban. Every permanent ban, it's just an indefinite ban and it can be lifted at any time. Also, did something happen in 2021 that might have gotten banned from Twitch?
Who knew?
In
who knows, indeed. Yeah. So this is taken from Eurogamer, who perfectly summed it up by saying, Twitch has reinstated former President Donald Trump's account following a permanent ban in 2021, following the storming of the US Capitol building.
Oh,
it's unclear if this was that little kerfuffle that happened.
That little insurrection.
Yeah. Not just the Star Trek movie, everybody.
Great Star Trek movie.
Yeah. It's unclear whether this was specifically requested by the Trump campaign team. Eurogamer was provided with the following statement from a Twitch spokesperson. Quote, we reinstated former President Trump's Twitch channel. We believe there is value in hearing from presidential nominees directly where possible. Trump is now the official Republican nominee for U.S. president. Furthermore, Twitch has made it clear that that the same community guidelines apply to public figures. Quote, we continue to enforce our community guidelines and take necessary enforcement action. And when we identify violations of our rules, Twitch doesn't have a public figure policy, meaning all channels are equally subject to our guidelines, regardless of whether the channel belongs to a public figure. Twitch banned Trump's account due to, quote, the ongoing risk of further incitement of violence, it said at the time. The president's statements continue to be interpreted as calls to action, and we are taking this action to remove the potential for harm to our community and the general public. So there's a few things to be taken from this, and they go on to reinstate their clear rules on hateful conduct. Quote, Twitch does not permit behavior that is motivated by hatred, prejudice, or intolerance, including behavior that promotes or discourages discrimination. Encourages even, yeah. Discrimination, denigration, harassment, or violence based of the following protected characteristics: race, ethnicity, color, caste, national origin, immigration status, religion, sex, gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, serious medical condition, and veteran status. End quote.
Wait. So you need to read the next bit. It also includes rules on breaking the law and off-service conduct. I have questions. I have questions. He already breaks most of those.
Only this week, when commenting on seemingly the forerunner for Democrat nominee Kamala Harris, was Trump was quoted as saying that the people won't allow a woman president, especially one of a person of color. They just won't allow it. And it's statements like this of, he's going to say the dumb thing and the thing which will trigger all of these all of these alarms that should get his channel banned. However, the key story behind this, dear listener, is that there's money to be made here. Twitch has obviously seen that whenever Donald Trump speaks, millions of people go to see it. And what platforms they're going to see it on? They're going to see it on Twitter. They're going to see it on YouTube. They're going to see it on Fox News and all the rest of it. And Twitch thought, well, why can't we go direct to the source and have people watch it on our platform, and we get that sweet ad revenue, and we get a cut of all the subs and all the rest of it? And I think there's a smidgen of decency here, and only a tiny smidgen of it should be a platform for all nominees to be able to state their piece and all the rest of it. However, when you have someone who has a track record of being problematic and you deplatform them for being problematic, and they have not changed their stripes or their colors or anything else, and are still demonstrating the same behavior that got them banned in the first place, now you're deciding, oh, that doesn't matter no more. We are now re-establishing the channel. It only leads me to believe that this is a pure play money move, and it speaks to the fact that Twitch is a company that's owned by Amazon. Amazon loves a bit of money. They sure do love that money. And when Twitch is coming under an ever more scrutinizing eye in terms of making money, which has resulted in layoffs within their teams and various other practices in order to make more revenue, whether it be integration of new tiers and turbo and things like that, in order to remove ads off all channels, not just ones that you're sub to. It just speaks to the fact that this is a bad move all round. And even the stuff he said this week would be enough for them to get their channel delisted, but I don't reckon they would or will, because there's too much money to be made.
Yeah, it would be really embarrassing for Twitch if they actually enforced their own guidelines on Donald Trump's channel, because that's why I said the thing. It's like, Twitch does not permit behavior that is motivated by hatred. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. That's it.
Yeah,
we're done.
Freeze. That's it.
We're done. It also considers rules on breaking the law. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Right, we're done here. Yeah.
34 counts.
We can go.
Breaking the law.
He failed the first part of your Twitch community guidelines about hateful conduct. Never mind the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 lines.
Yeah.
Like the first word was enough. So yeah, I don't anticipate Twitch will be enforcing their guidelines as far as Donald J. Trump's Twitch channel actually goes, which means they do have a public figure policy.
Yes.
They just haven't got it written down.
And it's probably one that just remains unsaid, but everybody knows it's there, and it's like
we know it's there,
situation. Yeah,
because he's on
it's
Twitch.
clear as day.
Like he's on Twitch,
yeah.
so they have one. Like that's how the world works. Like
you can get away with anything if you're famous enough.
You can,
as it turns out.
You as a corporation can say anything you want, but it's the things that you do that actually matter.
Yes.
Like if Trump is on Twitch, I mean, what does this say about your community guidelines in general for everybody else? Like if he's allowed to break the law, the rules. Or the law, I guess he did that as well.
He did that. He did that as well.
If he's allowed to break the rules on Twitch and he's not getting suspended, and you don't have any special policy about him, then somebody else who's a hateful piece of shit might look at that and go, "Well, hang on a minute, you're hitting me with this ban, but you've said there's no special treatment."
Yeah,
but he's done that. It's a dangerous door that they're opening.
It's another slippery slope, and. Yeah, it's saddening all around. That you understand why they're doing this in order to make more money and to give them a platform of, hey, don't go to Twitter and give your money to Elon for all those eyeballs watching your content. Come over here, kind of thing. And there is a second story we want to tie to this. Thank you, Amy, for putting this into the doc. This is via Eurogamer as well. So Twitch updates sexual harassment policy to make it, quote, easier to understand, end quote. So this is a new category on its auto mod tool to improve safety on its platform. In a new blog titled, quote, How We're Combating Sexual Harassment on Twitch, end quote, the stream platform highlights clarification to its policy. Let's read this out. Quote, while that policy remains largely unchanged, these updates are designed to make the policy easier to understand. Sexual harassment is never okay or acceptable. Amy?
I have a question related to the previous news story. Again, to this one.
Yes.
According to 3 seconds of searching, since the 1970s, Donald Trump has at least 26 women have publicly accused Trump of rape, kissing, and groping without consent, looking under women's skirts, and walking in on naked teenage pageant contestants. My question is, again, we haven't crossed the first sentence threshold of this new policy. So how does that work, Twitch? My question is, how does all of this work, Twitch? Like,
yes,
you say one thing, but then this other thing happens, and it really calls into question the first thing.
There's photos of the man with Jeffrey Epstein.
And again, there's
many of them.
There's a lot of photos of him with Jeffrey Epstein, but like, what it does is it promotes Twitch as an incredibly unsafe place for people who aren't Donald Trump or people like Donald Trump. And like, how do you can't enforce a rule if you don't enforce the rule on everybody?
Yes. It needs to be a one solution fits all, not just here's one solution, but there's certain exceptions.
If you have if you have a policy where you say sexual harassment is never okay or acceptable, but it's okay for this guy, then you don't have a policy that says sexual harassment is never okay or acceptable.
In related news, there's currently reports of an API going around on Twitter of certain accounts that Mr. Musk has essentially given a
public figure policy.
A public figure policy too, in terms of if any of these accounts which are labeled on this list, this API generated, if they use any different types of slurs or terrible words that nobody in society should be using, then it's okay. It just gets swept under the rug, and there's no ramifications or consequences to be done if you're on this like gilded list of accounts that he likes. So, yay!
Gilded list of the worst people in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, I try not to interrupt people as best as I can, but like for that one, it was like I want to make a point here. It's like, hey, you've read the first sentence. I have questions.
No, absolutely, and you're right to ask them, and it's it calls into question Twitch integrity as a platform, and I know a lot of our friends and peers, they use as Twitch as their platform, but there doesn't necessarily to be a viable alternative when it comes to that. If people were looking to offboard and to go somewhere else, kind of thing. So I mean, that'll be a decision that every single content creator needs to make within themselves in terms of.
You can't not use Twitch. If you've built a community on Twitch, you can't just
Absolutely.
go, I'll go over to YouTube and like everybody's going to follow me. It's like, no, your community is on Twitch. Like,
Yeah,
for whatever, like,
that's
small,
the platform they're invested on.
Yeah, like for whatever small live streaming community we have, it's on Twitch. Like,
Yeah,
not everybody's going to follow to a different platform, and it's like, okay, well, we have to stay on Twitch. Like,
but it doesn't mean that we can't make our voices heard and let Twitch know that we need them to be better. And this isn't the first instance of telling Twitch that they need to be better. And there's been countless ones in the past when it comes to making the platform safer, and when it comes to people getting hate raided and things like that. And that's something that happened to me. Yeah, absolutely. It's not fun, was it?
It was an interesting experience. We were with it was an Among Us stream, so we were with people who are not online, like don't know anything about like the Twitch or like the general sort of vibes of the internet, so they didn't have a fucking clue what had just happened. So it was bad. But then I shoved an entire Twinkie in my mouth and brought the mood back up. So, you know.
Hey, you do what you do, and
you do what you got to do, and all of a sudden, you being hated. Yeah, like the rest of the policy update and stuff, it's like it's worthless. Like, and like
if you fail at the first hurdle, then
you've already fallen at the first hurdle. You're out of the race. Like, that's how hurdles work. I used to do hurdles when I was in school, but the point about Twitch being like a bad platform, it is, but all of the other ones are as well. And at a certain point,
100%.
if you want to live stream and you want to build a community of like-minded people, like we have, like I know some of my friends have, they've built fantastic communities on their Twitch channels, because they're just really amazing people. But you have to pick one of these terrible places to do it. And then agitate for better from within, knowing that you are tied to that platform.
You need to self-police as well, because you can't rely on the platform to do that for you, because they just won't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Be good people in the communities that you're in, and that will encourage more good people to gravitate around you.
Sure.
That's all there is to say. And this week has been another week for content creators coming out saying, I didn't do anything illegal, but I did message some minors. And it's okay, just stop, okay? With all that, just please leave these kids alone.
Yeah, please. Pretty please. Yeah.
Hopefully I'll come back with a non-fascism story.
You will
next week.
I can guarantee it, because I'm gonna say no next week. Like, you know, I feel like
you're harshing the vibes.
I feel like you're abusing the open door policy I have here, Vitz. No, obviously, whatever you bring is fine. Like, whatever.
No, 100%. And breaking news that I'm sure we'll get into next week. There seems to be a strike brewing amongst video game actors with protections against AI coming aboard. So hopefully that'll be my topic to discuss next week in more detail. So stay tuned for that, dear listener.
Good. Fuck them up. Been playing some games this week, though, Vitz.
We have.
I played Elden Ring, finished it, talked about it last week. I have nothing further to add. Apart from Elden Beast sucks. I hate him. Now I'm done. So I found out about this little game, this little web game from Rock Paper Shotgun, which I messed around. It's a game. It's a thing you can do on the internet. Called Fridge Poetry, where you open up a web browser and it throws a bunch of people into this like thing, and it's like a blank slate. And what you do is you type words, one word at a time, like fridge magnets, into this thing, and you just put them together on a fridge. But there's like a bunch of people doing it. You can see like all their mouses moving and stuff. And it's called fridge poetry. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I was on it for like, I think I ended up being on it for like about an hour. Just messing around with it. It was really fun. Like, it was quite cool. I went on this this thing, and I was like looking around at all the stuff people had made, and it's like it's not the highest brow of content, shall we say. But there's some interesting stuff on there, and there's some like things people had done where it was like, oh, that's actually like that's a poem. That's not just someone saying poop a lot. And then I was like scrolling around, and I saw someone had written something about gender. I don't remember. Like something. It was a good thing about gender. Maybe gender is right or something. So my first contribution to poetry, fridge poetry, was I painstakingly, one word at a time, replied, "Gender? I barely know her."
There you go. No, that's really apt. And in researching what the topic that I was discussing, I was taking a deeper look into what's inside Project 2025. And it's a 900-page document. I didn't read it, didn't read all of it, but there were several resources which essentially give you the cliff notes. And they have quite a few notes on gender, none of which I'll burden you, dear listener, with now. But yeah, that's a thing.
We are doing the games check-in. We did move on from the Trump story, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The fascism never stops.
I was gonna say, wow. I was like, wait, did I just skip a bit? Am I sundowning right now? No. So it was fun. I scrolled down a bit further and I saw someone like slowly like building the phrase "try finger butthole," which is like very famous.
The Elden Ring, yeah,
from all of them. Player message. So I added, what did I add? Oh, amazing chest ahead. And then I think there was like 2 or 3 of us. We just started like adding on all of them. So like Fortnite and like liar ahead, and we just and we made this. We crowd built a Dark Souls poem.
Hell yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, like, and it was seeing like what people like were building around me. Like, I don't know what kind of like safeguards are in there for like shitty people being shitty people and doing shitty things, but I didn't see anything like pop up while I was playing.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But I was mostly focused on making a Dark Souls poem with some other people. But yeah, I'll drop a link to the page in the description. You just go there and it loads you straight in.
There needs to be a screenshot of you just writing Egon statement. Hail of harpoons.
Hail of harpoons.
Exactly.
Where did I put my phone? Because I think I actually you mentioned screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
And I did actually. I'm sure I took a photo of the Dark Souls poem because I was like, I want to keep. I want to keep this for posterity. And I mean, it's a terrible poem, but like, you have to write the word. We were down because you can scroll down, and but like when you type a word in, it goes to the top. So you get to scroll up and then drag it down and
drag
then
it down.
Right thing and then scroll up and then drag it down. So it took ages. By ages, I mean like 5-10 minutes. Yeah, I took a photo of the Dark Souls poem. Amazing chest ahead, try finger, butthole, Fortnite, treasure ahead, liar ahead, try rolling, praise the message, and then there's the emojis for high fives, and then a finger pointing emoji, and then a sun emoji.
Praise the sun.
And then the exclamation mark. And it ends with only happiness ahead.
There you go.
And I spent my afternoon messing around with this thing. Like, for an hour.
Brilliant.
So. But it was cool. It was interesting. I had a good time.
Hell yeah. Friends, it's that time of the month again to it's sim racing soapbox time. because there's a new update out for my favorite driving game.
And it's great.
It's something. Gran Turismo 7 has their update 1.49 released, which brings a raft of changes. Sadly, the changes don't involve a whole new bunch of races, but they added a new circuit, which they haven't done in many, many months. So the Eager Norwand circuit, which first appeared in Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6, set in the beautiful hills on the foothills of the Alps in Switzerland. Eager Norwand is back in slightly retweaked version, but it's still as pretty as ever to drive around. There's a few performance hitches on the PlayStation 5 version when it comes to the lighting and shadow effects, but aside from that, really great fun to get through there. So with this new circuit, we all had hopes of, we're going to add a decent number of events for people to really get their hands on what the track feels like, the new layout that they've introduced and things like that. No, it's 3 events, 2 of which are 3-lap dashes for the cash, and 1 event which is 12 laps, which will involve a pit stop at some point. So that's the only event of merit and things like that. But the other thing they introduced was 6 new cars, mainly older machines, which didn't really tickle my boat. But the other thing they introduced was a whole new physics model. What this means was any kind of leaderboards and rank times and things like that, all that was white, because essentially everybody started from ground zero again. And it gave everybody a chance to learn what the new physics model looks like, or handles rather. It's a lot more true to life in terms of it demands more attention of you, especially under braking, and you can't arrive at a corner at a rate of knots like you usually would. You do need to be more careful of that. There's a more gradual approach when it comes to a car braking traction. You'll be able to catch slides and to essentially power out of corners more efficiently. So there is more nuance to get to. It does take a while to essentially find your speed again, because you're so accustomed to how Gran Turismo 7 used to handle, and you'd essentially be able to make cars dance your way through the corners. You just got to kind of relearn that steps of how to find your speed again. But thankfully, I got up there pretty quickly again. But yeah, there's a new track, which is always cause for celebration in Gran Turismo 7 parts. And I hope they introduce some more events soon, because we're in desperate need of them. That's my current complaint and ongoing complaint when it comes to GT7.
Current.
Yes.
The word current is doing some heavy lifting there.
It is. GT7 can be a great game if they only had the gumption to use it properly, because there's so much potential here, but it's just being wasted by the team. So I ask again, put me in chief. I will fix this game.
And at this point, I believe him.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've got some ideas. I've got some plans. But yeah. Go take a spin around Eager Norwand, enjoy the views in the Swiss Alps, and you can see like the trains going past that will go off up into the mountains. And they've rejigged the track from GT5, GT6. So the tunnel section is now the pit lane. So that's interesting. And yeah, it's a nice addition. The cars itself, there's some older cars from like 2008, I want to say. So Ferrari F430 Scudera and Lamborghini Gallardo. Colin McRae's 1995 Subaru WRX is in there as one of the kind of halo cars. But yeah, aside from that, more GT7, more reasons for my hopes to get dashed. So tune in next month. And more of that. I'm not ready to give. I gave a Forza Motorsport.
I need fun if you're having fun.
Tiny Tires, give me a release date. Give me something to look forward to when it comes to a racing game, please. I need saving from GT7. When I come to
your house, I'm gonna stay up late and delete the damn thing off of your PlayStation myself. I'm gonna find a way to refund it.
Oh no. I did listen. The thing is, I know she's serious as well.
I'm gonna buy you a copy of GT4 or whatever.
Oh, if only that worked. If only you could put a PS2 disc inside your PS5 and
But
it
look,
ran.
if it saves you from having to be disappointed on a monthly basis, I'll buy you a damn PlayStation as well.
But there is that brief glimpse of hope in my heart when it's like, oh, this could be the one. This could be the one where they fix everything, and then
Sure.
obviously they don't.
Sure. Counterpoint.
the
if you
the
had
Delulu is high.
if you had a PS2 with Gran Turismo 4, it's 4 your favorite one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you had a PS2 with Gran Turismo 4, that you wouldn't need hope. You would just be playing a really great game.
Yeah, but I've done GT4.
You've done GT7.
This is true.
I feel like at this point, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I
I fully accept the fault is on myself. I should give up
it's
and
not
move
that
on.
I'm not like you can talk about Gran Turismo every month until the heat death of the universe on this podcast, but I'm concerned about your well-being.
Me too.
Like I'm annoyed because I care.
I know.
Okay.
But hey, if we had a decent sim racing game that wasn't like this, then I'd be playing that all day, every day. But sadly, we don't.
We don't. You know what else we don't have? A hope in hell of beating Moody in OpenCritic Head-To-Head. That's right. It's time for the most pointless game on the internet, OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point. But if you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of 4 upcoming games. Myself and Vitz were actually here to make the guesses, and Moody added his in later at some point, I guess. And I'm trusting that he did that before the review scores came out. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject.
Yeah, we're not looking at the logs of Google Docs and when they were modified.
I don't know how to check. If I could check, I might be able to find out. But then I'd have to know when the reviews came out, and it's a whole thing. I can't be bothered. It's too much effort. Who cares? He's won either way.
Yeah, he won back in February.
Yeah, he won back in February. It's like, there's no point in him cheating, because what would be the point? He's already won. Anyway, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of 88. Doesn't have a review score yet. It has plenty of reviews. For some reason, it doesn't have a review score.
It is beautiful. And I saw the whole of the Pop Agenda team celebrating the release of that, and congrats to them.
I am concerned that I'm bringing this up now.
Okay.
Like there's a big list of games right in front of me because I keep track of who gets what scores. I've played some of them. I've really enjoyed some of them. There's a lot more that I want to play. I'm concerned I'm only going to play Dark Souls games till the end of the year. I'm genuinely worried about myself.
Do I need to come over there and take the Dark Souls away from you?
For a completely different reason. Yeah, you might need to lock me out of my Steam account. But then that also causes the problem of, well, how do I play all these other games?
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit worried that like all of
So
these
we both need interventions, is what you're saying.
all of these cool games are going to pass me by because I just keep playing Dark Souls over and over again.
Well, the good news is many of these games, they're not going to go anywhere. And they will still be there. And even if we don't get to them until next year, they are still valid whenever you choose to play them.
I look forward to our Game on the Air podcast where it's like top 3. Why is it a top 3? Because it's all we played.
That's it.
We also try to guess the OpenCritic average of the star named EOS. Moody guessed it would get a 77. Vitz guessed it would get a 78. Amy guessed it would get an 80. At the time of recording, the star named EOS has an OpenCritic average of 78, which means Vitz gets 2 points. Let's go. Oh,
2 points, baby!
Woo!
We're in double digits now.
Let's go.
Comeback is on.
21 points behind. Let's go.
Yes.
We also guessed the OpenCritic average of Arranger, a role-puzzling adventure. I don't know what the fuck happened to my brain there. Moody guessed it would get a 79. Vitz guessed it would get an 83. I guessed it would get an 80 at the time of recording. Arranger, a role-puzzling adventure, has an OpenCritic average of 76.
Okay, how? Everybody was in love with this game when it was announced, and it looked really cool, and everybody was vibing off it. And then, yes,
I have a theory that there's a reaction that occurs on OpenCritic at large, all of the outlets on reviewing games on OpenCritic, where it's like, can you murder someone in this game? No. Okay. Then the OpenCritic average is going to drop.
The ceiling goes down.
Yeah, the ceiling goes down on that game.
Murder is the key, it turns out.
It's either I'm narrowing it down. It's either big boobies, murder, or like gameplay like light games. But then I keep seeing visual novels like shoot up to the top.
Visual novels tend to have big boobies in them.
But they do tend to have big boobies. So yeah, that doesn't really. We're getting closer. I'll figure this formula out eventually.
More research is needed.
More research is needed, especially on the big boobies. I'll handle the big boobies. You handle.
Thank you for jumping on that grenade, Amy.
You handle all the other stuff.
You're a real hero.
I do what I can. Speaking of heroes, we also tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Earth Defense Force 6. Moody guessed it would get a 71. Vitz guessed it would get a 70. I guessed it would get an 80. At the time of recording, Earth Defense Force 6 has an OpenCritic average of 74. 2 points for Moody, 2 points for Vitz. No points for poor Amy.
Oh no.
That puts the scores at Amy 19, Moody 32. Vitz 11 with 5 draws. This week, we're going to guess the OpenCritic average of World of Goo 2. Moody has already infiltrated the document. How dare you? And has guessed that the game is going to get an OpenCritic average of 83.
Okay, so it's my turn to go next, dear listener. I'm going to go for an 82.
82.
Yeah.
Now, the game has no big boobies that I know of.
It doesn't.
Does it have murder? Does it count as murder when you like fail?
I mean, yeah. Is there a fail state where it says you died?
Because Lemmings has murder. Because like if you fuck up, you blow all your lemmings off. I've never played World of Goo.
It doesn't look like it is.
Neither does Lemmings. Neither does Lemmings.
That's true. That is true.
It's not on Steam. Fascinating. I don't know. I was gonna like try and do an experiment and put my theory to the test. If I can unlock the formula, I can win this game next year and Fantasy Creed.
Yeah.
And every year. If I can unlock this formula.
So this seems to be a long-awaited sequel, 15 years after the original came out.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, there's like pits and stuff. Like, they can die.
Yes.
They can die.
Mm-hmm.
So we've definitely got the violence. Or the murder, I should say. Fuck it. 84. Take that, Moody.
Hell yeah.
It's going to get 83. We're going to find out that, like, Moody, like, travels through time.
That would explain a lot.
It would explain a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's not here this week because he's got time sickness.
Yeah, time dilation.
He's been doing it too much. Because he's been having to check the OpenCritic of too many games because lots of games have come out in the last few weeks. He's like, oh, time sickness. Gonna have to
the time machines need tinkering.
Yeah.
Sonic screwdrivers to the ready.
It's a thing. Don't look it up.
Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. Sauce, trust me, bro.
Uh-huh.
Shall we get out of here?
Yeah.
It finally happened. 3 podcasts in to... Because don't tell Moody this. I'm pretty sure he's not going to watch this far. The whole point of doing the 3 topics and the games check-in and the little bits was actually what Moody said it was, to try and like crush the podcast down to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's finally happened. We're going to make it. Don't tell Moody I said that, though. He'll be insufferable. Uh-huh. Do you want to have another crack at Moody's Time to Shine, or do you just want me to do Bale?
Let's do both.
Bale? Interesting. Simultaneously, or?
Oh no, let's do. I would like another crack at it, and then I'm going to throw it to you, and you do the outro with "Cause You Bail," and a hail of harpoons.
Hail of harpoons.
Okay, there you go. It gives you time to bring up the monologue. Okay, fair enough. What's good, everybody? You're doing great. I'm here, and I'm gonna try and perform the role of Moody once more. Congratulations, you made it to the end of another week. It's another day. You've hopefully earned another $1, and if you haven't, then I'm sure dollars are coming soon. you are doing great. Surviving is thriving, and don't let anybody tell you any different. You are worthy of all the decent things in the world, and no one should tell you otherwise. Be good to yourself, most importantly. Be good to everybody else. High five the sky. Live long and prosper. And Amy, what should you do if you come across anybody called Bale? Oh, also, tune in Saturday, 7 p.m. BST, twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames for legally distinct 90s game shows. Amy, what if anybody comes rocking up to that?
Would it be funnier if I changed Bale to Moody?
Yes.
Curse you, Moody! I hereby vow you will rue this day! Wow. How did he do this? Behold! A true... I can't do it. A true Drake warrior! And I, Amy, your fear-made flesh... Solid of scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with holes your rotten hide with a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being. Sorry, neighbors.
It turns out voice acting is harder than everybody cracked up to.
I see why they're on strike now. Yeah.
There you go. All right, take care, everybody. See you Saturday.
Peace out.